God damn, bro. I can't believe we actually just fucking stole the Walter Christie fire truck from him. That was so fucking easy. I mean, he was literally standing right
It,
there and we just like jollied up on it, dude, and we just yoinked
it's
it.
a good thing he was having an argument. He really doesn't sound like a fun person to be around.
No,
Are
he's
we?
very hard to work with. But I can't believe he didn't even hear the tank, like, or sorry, the fire truck, even like start up or anything. Like, he didn't even hear the engine
Are we
cut
there
on.
yet?
No, no,
So,
Matt. We have a long
anyways,
drive ahead of us to get to Al Capone. Even though this is a very, very fast
Hmm.
fire truck, I can feel the wind in my hair. There's also no roof, so be careful if there's any bugs that fly in your hair or your
it's a
eyes.
good thing we were like feeling generous and decided not to do a wind blowing noise. You know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because that, I mean, we could immerse the audience, but yeah, that would be lame. But it's
I
gonna be
gotta
a long
pee.
drive ahead of us, guys. Nomad, we can take a rest at a gas station one of these days, but not yet. All right.
One day we will be able
Yeah,
to.
one day.
If
It might take a while,
if we
but one
wait
day.
long enough, like 40 years, we might be able to.
I mean, yeah, how long does it take to drive across the fucking country? I don't know.
I
But I'm
mean,
excited. I'm just excited to meet Al Capone. I think it's going to be cool.
more than meeting Walter Christie.
Yeah, bro. Well, we didn't really meet Walter Christie. We just kind of fucking.
I'm glad we didn't meet him. You told me he was not a good person.
No, he
Anyways,
was really an asshole.
so we're going to Al Capone now. Nothing's gonna go wrong. We're totally not going through the entire country on like one tank of gas
Hmm.
in a really like
In a Christie tank,
It's a
no
long
less.
vehicle.
it's a pretty obnoxious vehicle, I would have to say, but
It does
nothing's gonna
rattle
go
a lot.
wrong. I promise.
Hmm.
Yeah.
At least
But
it's not a 2001 Honda Civic.
shut up,
Fair.
Paul, stupid
That's
idiot.
fair.
And
That's fair. He's right about that.
Okay.
and like so what's the plan? Where are we gonna ask Al Capone when we get there?
Where's the alcohol?
Yeah, well, I was
Or
gonna
we-
ask him what his favorite brand of marshmallows was.
What is
Yeah,
thoughts
but
on the
couldn't
I just
Like,
think
where?
that, yeah, I just think that would be I just would want to know what his favorite brand of marshmallows was.
I like it. You like sound confident and shit.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, bub, hey, man. I'll point like my fingers at him like a finger gun, and I'll go, hey, you, what's your favorite brand of marshmallows, huh? If you're so tough and cool, and then he'll be like,
And you
stop
have like
talking to me. I'm
four
trying
guards
to.
with Tommy guns at
Yeah,
you. But
yeah. And they'll be like, nah, what are you doing to the boss, JC? And I'll be like, I just want to know what fucking marshmallows he likes. What the fuck are you doing? And he'll
and
be
then
like,
you reveal the bomb you have strapped to your chest,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
there you go.
And it's honestly pretty easy, actually. I'm
Oh,
surprised
are
nobody
we?
else did it
Holy
sooner.
shit.
We're going to see Al Capone so we can be part of his criminal empire. That's what I thought. Because we got to make money. We've had no money this entire time. And quite frankly, I'm fucking tired of it.
All right,
And
so we're
so-
gonna
We
go
did
to
buy
him
free
and
tickets, so that's something.
Yeah,
think
well,
I'll,
that
like-
was the last of our money. Getting those free tickets, that was the last of our money. So I don't. We bought
I
free,
got him
and
at
that
a
was way
discount,
too
though.
much.
How did you burn all the money?
I was really hungry,
You
and
bought another iguana.
we have a lot of iguanas
You
in the
bought
trunk.
another iguana.
And
Yeah.
you guys don't look back there because they'll yip at you. They're very hostile, but they'll be yummy we'll put them on the barbecue. We'll put them on the barbie, and they'll be delicious. They'll be delectable, I promise.
I trust you.
Thank you. If there's anything I've done this entire trip, this entire journey, would I have done anything to prove to you guys that I can't be trusted? Raise his eyebrows suspiciously.
Not even, honestly.
Good. Yeah, I
Where
didn't
are we
think so.
going with this? We're still just driving.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be out here for a while, so we might as well talk to the voices in our head as we usually do when we have
Yeah.
give or take an hour's worth of free time. Conveniently, almost exactly an hour's worth of free time.
Of course, this doesn't mean that we've run out of content for the intro. It's a pretty short intro. Welcome
Oh.
back to Getting Sidetracked. Paul had something to say, but we don't care.
A little bit of a difference with
yeah,
this
that's right.
episode. I will catch out, or I will let it be known for the audience that I am the one recording this episode and not Paul. So be aware that the quality is probably going to be
quality.
way higher. Yeah, exactly. Also, if we talk about like specific
Myself.
things, actually expect there to be editing and images put into this, and like
I'll just-
actual
You know,
effort.
Five images of cars,
Yeah.
easy, but no,
It's
you know?
really not that
Be
hard to
like,
do. I'm
what
surprised.
have you done for this podcast except saying it was going downhill since day one?
That's actually my joke, Nomad. So don't even give him that credit.
Yeah,
But yeah,
seriously,
what
the
else have you
fuck,
been doing
man? You just-
besides taking my joke? Raise his
Well,
eyebrows
from the
suspiciously.
start, I've been constantly telling you I'm
Takes
so
in
sorry.
breath.
I wish I could be doing more, and you've been telling me that's fine. So you don't get to come here with this shit. Then
How
I've
about you
been
give me more
managing-
intro material, huh? How about you do that? How about you give me some more
I've given you
perfectly
more
cut...
intro material.
Okay, well, give me more, because I need
Shove-
more.
Paul
American
shoved a bunch
Psycho...
of memes on them, and then you're too sad and angry and lazy to go through the memes. It's all Paul's
Just-
fault again.
Jesse
It all
Lynch
goes
as a
back around.
recreation.
What?
You know what, Paul? Give me. I want Propala. You're being Williams now. This is changing.
What?
You're...
shit,
Oh, he's
okay.
changing his name? Mid-podcast?
Alright.
Whoa, this is unforeseen.
That's it.
This
That's
is
how you know
meta.
he's serious.
This is mine.
This is getting meta, as if it wasn't getting
Alright.
meta already.
All right, so talking about fishing, do you
Yeah.
guys like fishing?
I remember fishing when I was a kid at like my grandparents' house, but like that's it. I don't really remember doing anything like serious with fishing. I don't know any. I would widely consider myself to be a very big fishing noob. I don't know my shit
Huh.
when it comes to fishing.
I've been fishing since before I can remember. Like, maybe I think at 5 I was fishing, and even
doesn't-
less.
That doesn't sound right.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It just doesn't sound right.
Cool. Anyway,
That's. I mean, there was nothing else. I don't know why you guys were like
Supposed to
interrogating me.
answer.
Well, I don't know why you
No,
felt you
it's
needed to.
awkward.
I just didn't. It just didn't sound right. I don't know why you felt like I required an answer out of me. I just don't believe you at all. Like I just think that you're a liar.
Well, I guess I
But
might be a
think
liar,
think about the fishing that you do remember. Give me some of that. Go for it. Hit me hard over the head with fish.
well, it's like at some point my line was in the water, right? And then
Fair.
a fish bit it, and then I brought the fish up.
Again,
and
like
then
that
I
doesn't
had
like
a
that
fish.
doesn't sound right to me. Like you're not like explain yourself.
Okay, so he's actually lying. What
For
we
the
usually
love of
do?
fucking God.
What we
I'm just look, guys. I'm a
actually do when
fishing
we
noob. I
fish-
don't get. You can't just like start spouting all this technical jargon like
What-
fish
what-
and
what we-
line
what-
and hook. I don't know what that means.
What we usually do is take a
We didn't even
massive
say
aluminum
hook.
pole, put it in the middle of the river or a lake or whatever, and wait for a thunderstorm.
A thunderstorm.
And
So,
all the
you're,
fishes come
so you
back.
guys are storm chasers then. Cause see, now
Yeah,
I'm
but,
getting
like,
now I'm getting
you-
conflicting
like-
reports.
No,
It's funny because I've
you
been
put-
watching Pico's Hank videos all day.
I don't know who that is.
Storm
So,
Chaser,
no,
you know,
Oh, okay.
context
put-
clues, Ada.
You put a
Fair.
metal pole in the middle of a lake, and then you wait for a storm. And you know, like lightning hits the highest point of any flat parts.
Fair. Oh, so it hits your
Therefore,
rods and you
It
die.
hits the rod, and then all the fishes just come back up because they're
What are we
super
talking
happy.
about? Can we talk about how none of
That's
this
actually
makes sense?
awesome. That's a great strategy. Holy shit! Why has nobody thought about that
I'm
before?
more of a
Nomad? You're a
dynamite kind of
fucking
guy, honestly.
the old-fashioned way.
It's
I love the
spectacular.
gifs of people who fucking just take like an AR-15 and just fucking spray into the water. That's how
Well,
I would go fishing.
The thing is that doesn't work.
Well, yeah, because bullets don't really travel in water. But if they did, man, those fish would be in for a fucking ride.
I know there's a type of fish that you are required. The thing is so strong that you are required to shoot it the moment it comes to the surface.
God damn.
That's called a gator, actually.
No.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm talking about an actual fish.
Oh. Gators aren't
Like,
fish?
it's not- No, they eat fish. What is the best mustache man?
The best mustache man. What's the best mustache? Probably
Charlie Chaplin?
Markiplier Wilford Wharfstache.
What?
The
I'm just gonna let that. I'm gonna let that sit. I'm gonna let all of you who don't get that reference. I'm gonna let you just soak that in. Markiplier Wilford Wharfstache. How about that? Okay. No, I'm
Alright,
sorry.
I'm seeing the comments already.
I'm sorry.
Never mind.
Speaking of, well, YouTubers like Markiplier, his Markiplier, In Space with Markiplier Part 2 just dropped. It's pretty poggers.
So like they go in space?
Yeah, they go in space, and it's like a choose your own adventure thing. I haven't actually watched Part 2 yet, but apparently it's Part 2, so it's better than Part 1, I think. I actually don't know. But that thinking of, did you guys also see the Markiplier video where he went to Corridor Digital and was talking to Corridor Digital about how much they helped him be like a filmmaker and stuff? No, you didn't.
No.
Well,
I haven't watched Corridor Digital in a while.
Really? They're still doing some pretty
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's just that I don't watch much YouTube anymore.
Really? You
Well-
don't watch a lot of YouTube?
I mean, I do, but most of the time I'm just fucking tired and go on YouTube Shorts and like lose 2 hours of my life on YouTube Shorts.
So
Shorts.
I was about to say,
boo,
yeah, I was literally about to say. So you
boo.
actually use YouTube Shorts, like genuinely?
I mean, I just disconnect.
So you have an out of body experience on YouTube Shorts?
Yeah, it's like a fever dream. Kind of like a.
And get home from work and just time to fucking phase out of the mortal realm real quick, and you open YouTube Shorts.
So like the thing with YouTube
yes.
Shorts is that sometimes I fully
Sometimes it's
believe
not
they're
short
bot
enough.
accounts, and
Oh,
they just repost the same fucking video saying like, "Can I get 1 subscriber?" Like 5 times a day.
anyone,
Not even-
please! I'm begging
they're
you.
They're always Minecraft videos.
Always Minecraft
It's
videos
actually
begging
funny.
for 1 subscriber. That is actually
Yeah.
pretty funny. But like, how do
But,
you
like-
even get to YouTube Shorts? Like, I genuinely don't even know like how it works. Like, I see the YouTube Shorts every now and then, like on the front page. But like, how does one navigate the shorts?
Well, I just go on my phone.
This is
and
forbidden
scroll.
knowledge. He's on the phone. He's on YouTube phone even though he's at home.
He's on
This doesn't make
YouTube.
sense.
That's not
I
pushable.
barely watch.
He's on
Bro,
YouTube.
I literally just make models and like, oh, YouTube Shorts.
You're
I'm
so
literally just
full
like
of
a
it.
guy. Like, I
Every
don't
time
even
you-
know.
Every time you call me, you stream a video about like fucking
Fishing. Because
fucking
you like fishing.
Fishing, that's fair though. That's actually fair.
And your
Fishing.
name's
Are there
better
fishing?
like Big Fish.
Is there fishing
It's
YouTube
even
Shorts?
better, a whole documentary about like mesothelioma or something.
And you actually watch it with me.
I do not. I pretend I do.
No, fuck you.
Wow, you heard it here first, folks. Felix is pretending to be Paul's friend this entire time. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Looks like you
Yeah,
and I are the only
actually,
genuine
yeah.
ones.
I just needed an extra employee in the company, you know.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh fuck! Wow, that got
It's
personal.
only been like several years, but you know.
So I've the only
That
experience
was
I
all
have with
scheme.
YouTube Shorts is that like every now and then I'll see like some gun YouTuber. He like holds the gun out and he's like, "So this pistol is really weird because," and I'm like, "Wow, that pistol is really weird for that reason that he said." But like other than that, there aren't really any YouTube Shorts that I'm looking at and being like, "Yo." I don't even get
There's
tank
also
YouTube Shorts.
Short-
I don't
I
even
mean,
get tank shorts.
Well, there isn't many. I don't think there's any YouTube.
There's not capital market for me to get in on, but I gotta have some like shit to put into a YouTube
Oh,
short.
don't do fucking YouTube Shorts.
Why
Come
not?
on.
It's dude,
They're
fucking
the
playing the
lowest hanging
algorithm.
fruit.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. I got 1,500 subs, bro. I got places to be. I got places to go. I got videos to make. YouTube Shorts, you can throw them together in like 20 seconds. It's not that hard. I mean, I figure what I'm gonna do with YouTube Shorts is just take clips from videos that I've already made and then put it into like the phone aspect ratio and then throw it up as a short. I actually think
Motherfucker.
it's easy
deal is that
and it gets
it's
people
not really good
interested.
for money, though.
I don't care. I want to get people interested. Because then they're like, well, this is a fun fact from this, and then they check out my actual channel, and then they watch like the full length video, and it's like, oh wow, you know, like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Even with the podcast, I've thought about taking the podcast, and we can do it with the podcast, like upload like really funny bits of the podcast in like the phone format, the phone like aspect ratio, throw it up as a YouTube short for just like funniest moments and clips. I've had that idea for a long time, back when YouTube like shorts were first a thing. And then even I've had an idea to start a new channel called Edda's Extras or Extra Edda. I haven't decided on what I'm gonna name it. And that's like literally where I upload like anything and everything that like I don't really give a fuck about.
Okay.
Like short clips of things or like funny moments from podcast or whatever. Funny moments from stream. Like if I Edda 320 Live could be where, well, I guess I could do clips and stuff on Edda 320 Live as well. But I think Edda's Extras would have, there'd be stuff that I would throw on Edda's Extras. It's like behind the scenes stuff could go on Edda's Extras. I could do a lot of stuff with that.
Extras 420.
Yeah, and turn all that into
Extras.
shorts. It would be a lot of work. Like I'm planning to put a lot of work into this YouTube channel, and I'm gonna fucking kill myself doing it. But I think it would be fun. I think there's a lot to be done with YouTube Shorts. I think there's something to it. I don't think
Another
it's something
funny
you should
thing
look
with YouTube
overlook.
Shorts is people making very obvious. Did you know that in this movie, this detail, and it's like the most wildly known detail about a movie.
Did
Yeah.
you know that Scuba
Oh,
divers
man.
actually dive backwards off a boat because otherwise they just fall into the boat.
Bro. Yo, there's actually that. You're right about that. That's crazy. No, I can't tell you how many fucking. Did you know in American Psycho YouTube shorts that I got after we fucking watched American Psycho that night?
I saw. I had a bunch of memes on YouTube recommendations. Good ones, bad ones, really bad ones. Ones that Edit didn't find funny. He betrayed me.
Yeah, there were plenty that I didn't find funny. There was the one that I saw that was like, did you know that apparently in the books for, or I guess book, in the book for American Psycho, it's apparently a big like plot, not plot point, but it's a big detail of um Patrick Bateman that he wears a Rolex, and it's like one of the things with like that he constantly like flexes on people with, like, has got a Rolex. And they wanted to do it for the movie, but apparently Rolex like literally reached out to them and was like, please don't, we don't want our brand to be associated with a fucking American Psycho. And they were like, oh, okay, fair enough. And so they didn't do it. But yeah, apparently they wanted to at first, but Rolex was like, nah. So for the one of the few times I've heard a company actively reject pretty much free. I guess it wouldn't have been free. They probably would have had to pay royalties. Yeah, they probably would have had to pay some money to pay them there.
Like,
well, the movie was kind of a flop when it first came out, right? So it's only recently that it's become like an icon of memes and culture and funny movies. So like Rolex for decades would have been like, fuck, why did we do that? There's so much of that shit you can't plan out, you can't predict. What are you guys trying to do with YouTube? To put it back on the topic. Especially you, Nomad. I'm curious to hear about you. Yeah, if you're interested in doing like YouTube, Big Fish, but specifically Nomad, like what?
Yeah.
Like what are your goals, man? You know?
For YouTube?
Yeah.
Mostly going back to it.
Fair.
And actually starting to make videos.
That's step one.
I just want the stowage for my Sherman to arrive so I can finish that thing and actually make the video for it. Because I'm literally just waiting for the stowage.
Mm-hmm. Then you're gonna make a model video. Are you want to keep doing model videos, or do you want to kind of branch out?
I'm 100%. I want to make model videos because like it's basically the only thing I have time for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't really have the time to fully research a full subject for a history video like I used to.
Yeah.
Because, before when I was at school, like I'd be home at like I'd be at school from 8 to 2, and I'd be fully awake and not super fucking tired after a day of school and everything. So I'd have time for it. Now I wake up at 4:30. I'm at work until 2, and then I take all the traffic to come back home. I arrive home. The last thing I want to do is to research a fucking subject.
Yeah.
It just becomes. That's the thing with YouTube. I didn't want it to become a task, and it became a task.
Yeah.
Like it. Oh, I have to do this. It's not fun for me anymore. It's like if I need to, like, if it becomes a need to make models and not just a fun thing to do, I'm not gonna have fun doing it.
I would definitely agree. I think for me it has kind of somewhat been dipping back into that, but I think I'm able to come back out of it with the simple task of that, or the simple idea that the content that I make, I genuinely enjoy, and I'm excited to make those videos. Because I agree, like I'm at work, I wake up at 8 in the morning. Well, actually, I wake up before 8 in the morning because I have to be in the office by 8 in the morning. Lol. I wake up before 8, it's like 7:30 or something, and then I'm at work, from 8 in the morning to 5 p.m. And then it's not really even until 6 p.m. that I'm fully like in comfortable clothes, eating, relaxing at my computer, where I can then do editing for videos. I do a lot of my research at work, like whenever I have downtime, because I have my work computer and I have access to my Google Drive from my work computer. So I do a lot of research and script writing at work, like during my lunch time or when there's nothing really going on. And I think for me, it's definitely because I have kind of accidentally gotten back into the routine of weekly uploads, even though I wasn't trying to. When I got like my 2-month hiatus, or like when I took 2 months off out of nowhere to figure out what I wanted to do with my channel, I wanted to come back with the mindset of I'm gonna take as long as I need to on videos. I'm not going to cut corners, and I'm gonna make quality, and I'm gonna make what I want to make. And I think I've definitely stuck to the I'm gonna make what I want to make. That I've definitely kept up with, but I have kind of fallen back into just the routine of feeling like I need to have an upload every week. But I now have a backlog of videos, which is great because I spent those like 3 months that I took off making videos. And so I have a backlog. So I'm not super stressed to like make a video every week. So there's a little bit of leeway there. So it's not as like stressful on my shoulders. And like I genuinely, yes, I come home and I immediately grind on videos, and it is a task. I definitely consider this to be like a second work. But the videos that I put out, I'm very proud of, and I like the videos that I'm putting out, and so it makes me excited to work on them.
Oh, that I definitely used to have that. With I made a series of videos. One about the Battle of Bear Came, one about the landing in Dieppe.
Yeah.
And multiple videos. I made one about the third Battle of Passchendaele. And everything, and I was super hyped to upload them. The thing is that you upload them. We talked about this in other podcasts. Like, it becomes a task, and the reward is basically fucking nothing. It's
Yeah.
you don't get any comments. The comments are my drive. I get a comment, I'm super happy to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I feel that just from the. I'm actually so surprised because I've been reading the comments of Getting Sidetracked's comments,
Mm-hmm.
and I see I put a timestamp at like 48:55, and I'm like, bro, did
Yeah.
you actually go through 48:55 of this? How? I would never.
I listened to this podcast. I unironically, I was literally listening to the previous episode of this podcast in the shower this morning. Like I genuinely listened. Yeah, I genuinely listened to this podcast.
I've never been a podcast guy, so I mean, I guess it doesn't. But
I listen to it when making models because I use my phone to record the models, so I cannot use it.
Yeah.
So what I do is I with that phone, because I was the last client of the day, I received like some goodies, and I received a Bluetooth speaker, so I just plug it with my computer and I just listen to the podcast when I'm making models.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun. I think we have a cool thing going on with this podcast, and I'm proud of it and what we've done with it.
I'm gonna take a time to like simp and say like that everyone who posted comments except Joe, really thank you, because honestly it's staggering.
Yeah,
it's insane to me that like people watch this and take their time to comment on it.
It's
people were
really
talking
magical.
about aliens in the aliens podcast, and they're like, well, we talked about that, right? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, there was like real philosophical discussion that people were having in the comments of that one. It's really satisfying, and even with my channel, like seeing so many people like comment. I remember especially early on, because I was making these tank documentaries when I had like less than 100 subs, and I'd get the comments of people being like, holy shit, how do you have such high quality content with such small subs? Like, this is amazing.
It's
and people saying
nice.
Yeah, and
I've never had
like negative comments. I've had a couple. I've officially received 2 comments that were like critiques of being like, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? And I'm like, uh-oh, here they come, because I'm now getting big enough to where there'll be people who actually don't like my videos. But especially early on, and even still like now, a vast majority of my comments are very positive, and it does seriously it drives you, especially people who are like, this channel is unique, and this channel is exactly like, I had some guy who was like, there are millions of people who will love content like this, like, you really got something special, keep doing what you're doing. And like those comments like literally will get you through, like you'll make 5 videos just off the fuel of that one comment. Like it's amazing just to know that what you're doing, people like it. That's the whole reason I started. I did any of this was because I just wanted people to like what I like, and I wanted people to be fascinated by things that I'm fascinated by, tanks specifically.
Honestly, I get that a lot too. Well, where was I getting with that shit? I had a point and I fucking forgot it. ADHD.
Cool. Anyways.
It's really hard, I know, and what you and you've talked to me about it a little bit, Nomad, of like, since you had all these subs that came in through that one big video, and then now you make content and it gets like, 100 views and like one, maybe no
if
comments.
it's
Yeah,
100
like
views.
no
You guys
comments
have,
or
like,
one comment.
active
Like,
Discords.
yeah, I think that is nice, but I think you really just have to keep going. I know that sounds really cliche, and
Yeah.
I learned it a lot from Martin Cedo Pants when he did a video on he did like a 1 million sub special, and he talked about stuff that he learned when it came to doing YouTube. And I've heard this similar advice from other people, but like, especially if you're
Talk
not
louder.
saying, well, yes, first of all, talk louder. That's how you get good around a microphone. But no, like when it comes to doing it, not saying you're starting from scratch at all, Nomad. In fact, you do have an advantage because you're not starting from scratch. But like, you basically are, because of where your channel is.
Back from scratch.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're in that position, like, you basically can't lose, because all that can happen is you either get views or you don't. And you just slowly make your content and figure out what works, figure out what people are watching, and figure out what you enjoy making. And then slowly but surely, people will come. As long as your content is good, like, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I certainly experienced that on my side of things. So I know, like, that's, as long as you're proud of the content that you're making, other people will be too. And then they will hop on your bandwagon.
All right.
I think
okay, yeah, no, go for it.
I'm still looking for my own like thing.
You just gotta go. You just gotta make something and then see if you like it or not. And then
see, that's the thing. Like,
pivot
what do I
there.
want to do? That's the question.
I mean, you're here. This is. I mean, step one, you're already here on this podcast, so you've got something to work off of. But like, I don't know. Like, if I'm a tank channel, or an all-around tank channel, Nomad is a modeling channel. If we've got a little trifecta going here, you can slip your own little piece into it.
Yeah, I just don't know if I want to be tank oriented.
That's fine. No, you don't have to be. That's what I'm saying. Is like, if I'm the tank guy and Nomad's the model making guy, you can
like
be
history oriented, really. Mostly.
Oh, that's also fine. You don't have to do history. You don't have to be locked up to anything. You do literally, like, just think in your head about a video that doesn't exist on YouTube right now, or at least one that you haven't seen, that you would want to make, and then just fucking do it.
Just could have like the Felix Miscellaneous channel. You just do whatever the fuck.
That's what he calls it. That's the actual name of the channel, the Felix Miscellaneous channel. That's awesome.
It literally could be.
I mean, yeah.
It does remind me of a thing I had cooking.
Oh.
But you know, I recalled what I was thinking of. I definitely got a ton of hate early on in my channel.
Huh.
Because I made one video saying that the Sherman was the best tank of the war, and it's funny hate. Because that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Remember that whole thing about r/Reddit history? That's it. That's
was this back in the day when having that opinion was still pretty unpopular, like thinking that the Sherman was the best tank of the war? Or was it just the way you presented it was very funny?
It was becoming more popular. The Chieftain already made his videos about,
the myths of American armor.
Yeah,
that was the big one. I feel like the myths of American armor, and then also I love his video on his presentation.
Inside the Chieftain's Hatch, inside
the
Chieftain's Hatch on the Sherman, that was the big one.
You think so?
But like, yeah, because you don't have to sit through an hour.
True.
You just get the bullet points real fast. No, the Sherman was not a fucking trash.
I enjoyed that though. I love his like hour-long lectures. I think they're cool. My two favorites are that one and
I'm
the
gonna
other
admit
Sherman
I'm a
one he
fan
did.
of Lindy Beige too.
Lindy Beige is very fun.
I don't really watch any of his stuff, but I should.
He's just a British guy on fucking crack.
Yeah, I've seen.
Talking about history.
I saw one video he did with the Chieftain where they were both sitting in a Churchill, and that was a fun video. And I think I saw one video of him with a bloke on the range when he was shooting a bunch of rifles for the first time.
Yeah. Well, okay, no, it wasn't. I thought you were talking about the one with Ian McCollum.
No. Ian McCollum has been another YouTuber that I've been watching a lot of, like in terms of history-oriented YouTubers. Jonathan Ferguson, Ian McCollum, but yeah, like I loved the Chieftain videos, like the ones he's got the Myths of American Armor, and then he's also got the Why the Sherman Was What It Was talk on YouTube. Yeah. Both of those are awesome. I love those videos. I rewatch them. I rewatch them constantly. I think that helps cement all that information into my brain, how I'm able to recall like things that he says. in those videos so easily is because I watch them over and over and over again.
I'm gonna have M4 Sherman tattooed on my arm at one point.
I've actually been surprised at the success that I've seen on Slightly Confusing Guide to the Sherman. Or no, sorry. Well, yes, actually, I am somewhat surprised by that, but I also know that it's a big niche video that a lot of people generally have found useful. Sorry, I meant Lessons in Tank Culture on the Sherman. That video has really been popping off, and I'm kind of surprised. I just didn't expect it to do as well as it did, but I've been seeing a lot of people in the comments being like, yo, like, this is actually a base take. Like, that's actually cool. Like, you're saying something new that other people haven't said before. And that's always fun when people can see that.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole
No,
point
I
of that
get that
series, is not to take the physical characteristics of a tank and say, why was it good, why was it bad, like what like maybe Spookston would do, but rather take its cultural aura and explain that. Be like, what is like the meme, what is the niche, what is like the stereotype within the history community that this tank fills. That's like what I try to answer with Lessons in Tank Culture, because it's a question that not a lot of people think about. And then it's sort of a why do we feel that way? Like why is the T-34 trash? Like why do people see it as like commie trash? Or why is the Sherman the best tank of World War II? And in my video I argue, well, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. It's not the best tank of the whole war, but it's definitely the best tank of the army it was fighting for and the places it was fighting in.
Yeah. Nah, we could go for a long
Yeah.
discussion.
I know how you feel
honestly.
about that, about the Sherman specifically.
Because like, if you like, just real fucking quick, if you ask me, the thing worked for every army it fought for. So for me, like, it's just self-evident. If it worked for literally everyone, how can it be like not the best thing ever?
I
Not
think
the best thing for it.
I think if it worked for everyone, well, maybe. I don't
Because
know.
it did.
I don't know if it worked. Like, I think it could have worked better for. I think some people looked at the Sherman and was like, some nations looked at the Sherman and was like, yeah, this is cool and all. Like, this is a good tank, but it does not suit our army like perfectly. I think if it did, then I think I think if the Sherman was perfect for Britain, they would have just kept them. Because they were already producing Fireflies. They already had so much being bought off America. Like, if the British were like, yo, this tank is literally perfect for us, then they would have kept Shermans around. If the French thought that, yo, Shermans are perfect, then they would have just kept them. But I think there is also an element of, even if the Sherman was perfect, there are always going to be politics that are going to come in, and they're going to say, well, I don't care if it's perfect. We need to have a domestically produced tank for morale and for money and to pump the economy. Like, that's fair. But I think there's a reason why the Sherman
Was what it was.
was what it was, and I think there's a reason why it stayed around for exactly as long as it did, and I think there's a reason why it was in service with the countries that it was.
If I remember correctly, the last one retired in 2018.
I think they actually brought them back in Peru. I'm pretty sure, but I think they actually put them back into service in the reserves or whatever. Funnily enough,
I know
yeah,
Uruguay still uses the M3.
The Stuart.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
a very
whew.
heavily modified one with a 90 mil.
Yes, I thought that was Brazil though, wasn't it?
I don't think
I'm pretty sure it was Brazil. But yeah, I just think that, like, I think the Sherman was easily the best tank for the Americans in the fronts that they were fighting in. And I think the people that did use it, it was good for them. I think the reason it worked so well for Britain is because they had literally nothing else. And it was just generally more ergonomic. I mean, not saying that British tanks were better than the Sherman, and the only reason they used them is because they had to. Like, that's not what I mean. But I mean for sure that the reason why they were used so heavily by the British is that they had nothing else. And you can even argue that in some ways it didn't fit the British because they had to modify it with the Firefly because they wanted to put the bigger gun in it. Or the M3 Lee, they had to modify it with the Grants. There are certain aspects of these tanks that Britain took and said, well, this is good. I mean, this is a great base, but we want to modify it to fit our things. And then for the Soviets, they were just so obsessed with the T-34.
Even the Americans modified it.
Fair, yes. But I don't. It's a very tough. Like I would need to get out my books and really dive into every nation that used the Sherman and how happy they were with it. I
Yeah.
in no way mean any sort of like the Sherman wasn't a good tank, because it was a fantastic vehicle by all respects, by most respects actually. But I think the idea that it was some sort of like master tier god tank that could do like anything for anyone is very is pretty silly, and also ignoring a lot of
I think it was
pieces
master
of data.
tier. Definitely a master in engineering. Because like you can't argue, to me you cannot argue otherwise, that it was a fucking masterful tank. It did literally everything you needed. You could do anything with a Sherman.
It has some shortcomings.
It has some short, because what doesn't?
Fair.
This is going to be an entire
But the
hour of
idea,
tanks again.
yeah, but the idea that you can quote do literally anything with it, I would not argue that case at all for the Sherman.
Name one thing a Sherman did not do.
The thin tracks meant it couldn't climb as high of a
No,
wall
I was thinking.
as a Panther. There's that one video.
Yeah, no, that video, by the way, is propaganda. It's actual German propaganda.
Okay, well, still,
Propaganda movie. But
still,
yeah, no, by the way, the thin tracks were made in the optic that they were made on purpose. They could make wider tracks, and they did.
yeah, that's fair, and
They did it on
that's
purpose.
I agree with that. The
Um,
French also didn't put radios in their tanks on purpose. Doesn't mean the tank
Yeah, I
wouldn't
know.
have been started off better if they hadn't done it from the beginning.
The thing is that the Sherman, let's say you needed a special vehicle for something, a Sherman could do it.
Yes.
You want it. That's the thing. There's not a role the Sherman did not do, and did not do well. That's the main point. It's like, oh yeah, you can have a tank that is super good at killing other tanks, i.e. Tiger. But what good does it do for anything else? That's my point. It's the versatility of the Sherman that, for me, makes it the best.
You could argue that for the T-34, but the Sherman did have better
the
ergonomics than the T-34, and was also better built than the T-34. But the idea of the T-34 was a medium tank that could do a lot of things. Same thing with the Panzer IV. But you are correct that the Sherman does have the edge in that it was better constructed, it was better built than both those tanks. Actually, the Panzer IV was pretty well built.
It was a pretty expensive tank too, if I
It
recall
was,
correctly.
yeah. The Panther was cheaper.
The Panzer, no, they were about the same price.
No, I'm pretty sure the Panther was cheaper.
Honestly, the difference is marginal. But
Probably.
Point being, the Panzer IV was a rather expensive tank,
Mm-hmm.
and obsolete by the end of the war. Completely obsolete.
The Panzer IV obsolete by the end of the war, probably. But I could almost argue that the Sherman was really the Sherman and the T-34 were also like really on their way out by the end of the war too.
Yeah, they were, but like the Panzer IV was totally obsolete. It's not even a question. It was going out, and the only reason the Germans still used it is because they had nothing else. They needed to use tanks, and they could not produce more heavier vehicles. By the way, we're not supposed to argue.
No, we weren't. No, I would continue this very respectful debate that we're having, but I really would honestly want to be able to get out my books for this, because I don't want to make any concrete statements about what was good at what without having surefire context. Because I mean, and I understand some of my points were a bit weird, of like saying that the Sherman had thin tracks as a negative. Well, obviously they did HVSS, so they upgraded that, so even the Americans knew that was a problem. Like, and then also, no tank is going to be perfect. We can all agree on that. I would want time to write things down and build an argument in my head before I start doing that. Do a Sherman debate. Yeah, we'll like prepare our points and do a little debate. That actually would be a pretty awesome idea.
And be respectful, and being able to kiss each other at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd kiss you no matter what you said in that debate, even if you like. If you said like nasty and demeaning things to me during that debate, it would make me probably want to kiss you even more. So yeah.
Come here, big boy.
Yeah, I was listening back to the podcast, the previous episode, and I was specifically listening for the segment where I talk about being in touch with your gay side. And I was just listening to it like, man, I really make it sound like I'm gay in this part. Like, I really just make it. I'm just like, yeah, like, kiss dudes, like, do whatever. Like, it's totally cool. Like, you don't have to, like, feel weird about it or anything. Like, come on, guys. And it's like, man, I'm really like,
It sounds weird, right?
yeah. Well, it's just, what sounded so
Well, it's
weird
not
about
weird. What do you mean?
No, it is. I mean, it isn't weird if you're into it. But what sounded so weird for me was just how like it just seemed I was like trying to sell the point home, like really, like I was really putting emphasis on it, like just in general. I was just like, come on, guys, like, come on now, yeah, like just kiss your homie. Like it's not like be in touch with your gay side. Come on, guys. Like I was just it sounded like I was just trying way too hard to make a point, and it just made me sound really, really gay.
Let's rejoice with the boys.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. Let's go to the YMCA. YMCA.
I want to preface that in the 20s, being gay was not readily viewed. And
What?
we are in the 20s.
Oh, yeah, we probably shouldn't be singing that around in the 1920s, should we?
Oh, we're fine. We're on this road, on this Christie thing.
Yeah, we're in the middle. We're in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. So yeah, it all works out.
Was YMCA even a thing in the 1920s?
Was what?
YMCA.
YMCA? That's actually an interesting point.
It's a gay bar.
Pretty sure it was.
It's not a gay bar. It's the Young Men's Club, YMCA, Young Men's something Association. I don't know what the C stands for. Cock, probably. The Young Men's Cock Association.
Wow.
No, I promise you it's not a gay bar.
You guys
If
are
I remember
insane.
correctly, when they were writing the song, they actually took inspiration from the actual place, and that's where the name came from.
Yeah.
And it was a, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a gay bar.
I don't think it was. I thought it was always like it's just like a club. It's like a gym club, like membership where you go to like do like you get access to like a gym. And what the fuck is the YMCA? YMCA.
Oh, YMCA is the song, actually.
It's a non-profit organization. Wait, fair. But what does it mean? The Y has been building strong kids, families, and communities since 1854.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Oh, no, okay, it did exist. You're right. 1854, it did exist. YMCA stand for. What does it mean? Okay. Yep. This sounds about right. The Young Men's Christian Association. Founded in London, England on June 6th, 1844. God damn! Literally 100 years before D-Day. Man, so June 6th in 44 has several meanings. In response to unhealthy social conditions arising in big cities at the end of the Industrial Revolution. Oh, okay, that's fair. What does YMCA mean today? It's still that. The Young Men's Christian Association. Yeah, I think it's just like a community. Like I know it the most is like a gym. Like you become a member of the YMCA and you gain access to like a gym and a pool.
My question is, why the gay the gay?
Because I think because it's the Young Men's Christian Association, so it's like young Christian boys who are just trying to have fun with each other, so it very quickly received gay connotation.
Ooh, we're gonna soak. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh God, what the fuck? I hate even more that I like knew what that means. Whatever.
One of them's
yes.
gonna jump on the bed.
That was the implication,
like
I believe.
the monkeys in the song. Monkeys jumping on the bed.
Monkeys jumping on the bed. Yo, you Frenchies had that too? That's so cute.
No, I just saw a PewDiePie video and like it was PewDiePie jumping on the bed and I knew like
he was. I mean, those monkeys were jumping on that bed though. Like, can we all come together and agree on that? Because like that was kind of crazy.
Like Sherman might not be the best tank of the war. Might be the T-34. Might be
maybe we could argue about that all night.
We can all agree.
That
the monkeys were jumping on the bed.
Those monkeys were jumping on that fucking bed, dude. I can't believe anyone would tell me otherwise.
Doing it.
They
were going at it.
They were having the fucking time of their lives, dude. And you cannot convince me otherwise.
And flipping.
Dude, they were doing all sorts of crazy tricks. That's insane. Honestly, more power to them. I wish that they.
Are we gonna jump on the bed when you come over?
Yes! Yes, let's do that.
It's
Yes.
official.
It's official. Ed.13 jumping on the bed moment.
Yo.
Have you guys ever wondered what it would look like when Edda jumps on the bed? Let's find out together.
There's gonna be a fucking hole in the drywall.
I just can't control my fucking leaps and my hops and my bounces.
It's gonna be like in a Warner Brothers cartoon where you just get your head stuck in the fucking ceiling.
Like when you
jiggling
throw
around.
pencils up into the ceiling. That's so accurate, dude. I'm a little troublemaker. Dude, my mom sent me a really weird text today. Can I change the subject for 2 seconds?
Yeah,
So
well, it is a Getting Sidetracked podcast.
yeah, can I get sidetracked real quick? So yesterday was my brother's birthday. Fair. He turned 22.
Happy birthday, Edda's brother.
Thank you. I'll let him know you guys said that. But yeah, yesterday was my brother's birthday, and so we celebrated all that. And then my mom sent me a text and was just like, "Hey, like, you coming over this weekend? We're gonna celebrate." Because his birthday was on a weekday, so they wanted to do something on the weekend to like go out to dinner and stuff. So like, you want to come over on Saturday, come back to the house on Saturday, and like, we're gonna do something fun for your brother's birthday. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, fuck yeah, of course." And then she was just kind of talking to me. I texted her a picture of something on my tanker's jacket that I need to get restitched and all that. So it was just like a short conversation with her. And at some point, she was just like, I mentioned that work had been really slow. And she was just like, is work treating you okay? Like, you doing all right at work? And I'm just like, yeah, it's slow right now. And she's like, are you, when work doesn't have any projects, do you get to stay home? I feel bad if you're at home. Is it unpaid? And I'm like, no, even if projects aren't going on, I still go to the office and I still get paid to sit around and do nothing. And then she goes, do you need to worry about losing your job? And I was like, no, I know, but I was just like, no, Mom, like, I'm doing fine. I'm a good employee. And she was like, right on. I hope you know that we would be here for you if you lost your job. Heart emoji. And I was like, thank you. Like, I don't know why you think I would lose my job. I'm doing fine. Like, I appreciate it though. And then she goes, you're a good employee and a good man. Don't think it would happen for any other reason than a downsize. Can't wait for this weekend. And I was like, okay. like, what does she know that I don't? Like, what's like, am I about to get fired? Like, I was like, Mom, like, what's going on? No, I'm sure she meant well, and it was very cute, but I don't know. Like, it was just so out of it was just so out of nowhere. I was like, no, Mom, like, I'm not gonna lose my job, or at least I don't think I am. Like, geez.
She's with your boss right now. Oh, no.
Yeah, like, she knows. She was like, I know you had your one-on-one today, and I just worry that what your boss was telling me didn't sound good, and I just want to make sure you're okay. And I'm just like,
I'm with the principal right now.
The principal. That's funny. Yeah, how what's the closest you've ever been to losing your job?
Well, I kind of did.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I don't mean like okay.
Well, I
Fair.
technically did not lose it. I technically did not lose it, and we parted in like common terms.
Okay, it was a mutual breakup.
Oh,
You know the story, Felix.
Then yeah, common terms, sure.
Yeah, but like, okay, so basically I worked on a golf course.
Goddamn.
And basically I had
Anytime
my
you
golf
wish.
cart. Yeah, I had my golf cart. And
Okay.
I was the day before I did something stupid and I had a fuel drum behind me. And I did a circle around a fairway, and the thing dropped in the cart and spilled on the fairway. You know what fuel does to grass?
Burn.
It burns it.
Just like that mission in
Destroys it.
Far Cry 3.
So there was a big fucking burnt circle in the grass.
God damn.
So that was the day before. The day after.
Meanwhile.
Basically, I went. I just had a talk with the boss, telling me, okay, no more trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Starting from zero. Everything's forgotten.
Yep.
Let's start from a new ground.
Yep.
I put
Reintroduce
that thing
each
in reverse,
other.
Turn, around, and PAH! I hit the fucking boss's pickup.
Oh, that's just unlucky.
And, holy shit! Like, he didn't notice it at first because he was kind of far away, and I was like, holy fuck, I did not just do that. I did not fucking
Did you put a dent in it?
Yeah, oh, no, the old piece had to be fucking replaced.
Oh, you stupid bastard.
And he turned around, noticed this, and I was like, I am so fucking stupid. Told me to go home. I went back next Monday and said, like, you can stay here, but you're not touching a fucking card again. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fuck off.
Oh, damn. On mutual ground. Yeah, you could tell. You got the feeling that they didn't want you around either, and you were just like, you know what?
Yeah, well,
fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, mine's a bit more straightforward.
Fair. Oh, that's a pretty straightforward. That was pretty straightforward. I feel like I understood that pretty well. What about you though?
COVID.
Tell me something even more straightforward. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Yeah.
I
think you mentioned it briefly
helicopter
before.
job. They came in and it was like, yeah, bye.
Damn. I feel like I got really lucky in that I got hired right at the height of COVID, like right when everything was going really crazy and like lockdowns were in like full effect.
IT, there's a ton of jump for IT right now.
Yeah, it's a negative unemployment industry. It literally has like they need people desperately, which also means that they'll hire fucking anybody.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of coworkers. I mean, I'm 20, just turned 20, so very very young guy, and all my coworkers are easily way older than me, and I know more about IT than a lot of them, because I actually like studied it rather than just like taking an online thing and then just being like, yeah, I think I know how. Like, there are several people, even my own like, there's several people in my office that I work with that are like, yeah, like I didn't plan on getting into IT like at all, but I'm just kind of here. Actually, I know one coworker for a fact who was just like, yeah, like I was searching for a job for COVID. I applied for this, didn't expect to get it, and I got it, and like now I'm here. And they're like, I had no IT background. I didn't know anything about this. Like I just fucking got here because I needed a job. And which first of all tells you that like, I mean, yeah, it worked. I mean, he's good at what he does. Like he's picked it up quite well, I would say. He's really cool guy.
Shout out to that one guy.
Yeah, shout out
to you know.
Yeah, shout out. I hopefully he knows who he is. I don't expect any of my coworkers to ever listen to this, but I hope he knows who he is. But yeah, I have a lot of coworkers who are like that, and then other coworkers who they wanted to work in IT from the get go, and then this is just the job they got. It's reminded me that although I'm very lucky.
Terrible?
No, they're fine. They can do. I mean, it's the higher up the chain of command you go, the less they know about like actual IT, which is really funny. I especially like project managers and stuff, or like department heads when they come. Like I actually literally like just this past like week, head of a department put in a request for 2 new like label printers that they need to get printed, and there's a workflow for that. If they need label printers, first they have to put in a request to get network patch cables run into that room so that the Ethernet ports in the wall like actually work. And so that's like step 1, and then they need to figure out where they're putting them, what they need it for. Like obviously they need to have a reason to request these printers rather than just putting in a ticket saying we need printers. So I get the ticket of, hey, go figure out what printers they actually want, like what model of printer they need, what they're used for, this, that, the other. And so I reach out to the person who submitted the ticket through email, and I'm like, hey, I'm from IT. I got this ticket that you want printers. Tell me what you need, and I'll try to get the workflow started for you. And they were like, oh, let me link you in an email thread. We've already been talking to IT about this, and we have an order put in for networking to be run through the room that we're gonna put them in. And I was like, okay. And I read the email chain, and it was just them talking to networking about getting patch cables run through the walls. And I was like, I replied back, I was like, yeah, like that's great and all, but like that's not what I'm here for. I'm here like for the printers themselves. And they were like, who put in the ticket? And I was like, you. And they were like, oh, yeah, let me get you in touch with like the person, like the actual person who's the manager who's there. And I was like, sure. And they came back. Yeah, they came back and they were like, hi, like, what's up? And I was like, I'm from IT. You've put in this ticket for printers. Like, I'm here to figure out what model of printer you want, what you're using them for, and what room they're going in. And they were like, we've been talking to IT about this already. We're waiting for networking to get put in. And I'm like, I understand that. I'm not with networking. I'm with the hardware. I don't give a fuck about, like, yes, I would like there to be patch cables put in so that the printers work when I install them. But right now, I just need to know, what printers do you need? Why do you need them? And where they are going, so I can get the workflow started of purchasing those printers and bringing them in here. And they were just like so confused. Like they just didn't understand the concept of there being like multiple steps to this, and there having to be multiple tickets put in with multiple departments to coordinate on this. Like, and it was really, really funny.
It kind of reminds me of like the nurses or doctors you talk to about, you know, the new websites and things that they needed to access.
Yeah, that one guy who was like, I'm trying to use my email, but it's not working, and I'm trying to use my hospital credentials to log in, and it's not working, and I'm like, you have to use your email. He's like, I don't think I need to use the email because that's not how I used to do it. And I was like, okay, well, this is a different system. This is a different app for a different vendor. Which, by the way, it's really funny how the app that they were using for that, which is like the app was to be able to clock in and out using an app on your phone, and the project was putting up beacons so that it could connect to it through Bluetooth and all that, so you would know like where the people are when they clock in. But the app on the phone, we had to download it on our work phone so that way we could, you know, use it and teach the users how to use it. We figured that out all on our own, by the way. I could fill an entire hour-long podcast about that specific project, and it basically sums up my entire experience at this hospital, like, to a T. But basically, yeah, I looked at the app on the App Store, and it had 2.5 stars on the App Store. And I was like, yeah, this is great. This is an enterprise hospital that is, purchased, you know, the cheapest version of whatever they're trying. Like they have a capability that they want, and they go look around for what is the cheapest thing that we can buy to make this capability. But they'll be willing to spend money on an infinite other things. That's what's angered me so much about the corporate world, is they'll cheap out on all these like very specific and weird things. But then when it comes to the things that genuinely matter on a large scale, they'll spend as much fucking money as they need to, because they don't give a fuck. And then you end up having to do it 2, 3, 4 times because they were just like, well, you know, we didn't think this through the first time, and now we need you to redo all the hard work that you've been putting in. I can't tell you how many times we've had to go back on a project and redo shit because they were like, well, we didn't think about that. And it's like, well,
that's my issue.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just they request something, and then we come in and we do it, and then they're just like, well, actually, we need this to be like over here, or we need this to be like, we also need this with it. And it's like, well, you didn't say that at first. And it's like, well, I know that's because we didn't know what we wanted it for. I was like, okay, well, then why did you request it? It's like, well, because like, you know. And she's like, no, I actually fucking don't know. I could fill an entire podcast of these projects. The API, the self-serve kiosk project is another one where when they built a new building, and they wanted to have these fancy kiosks that you could walk up to, and it would basically be able to skip like having to go to a receptionist, and you could like check into your appointment on these like big kiosks, and then you could pay for your copay and everything all from like these one automated kiosks. And so the people who built the building were like, this is going to be cool. Let's do this. The kiosks are heavy as shit. They're clunky. They don't fucking work. The credit card reader, nobody knew how the credit card readers worked because nobody told us how the credit card readers worked. So we just went out there and we hauled these heavy ass kiosks into position. We put credit card readers in them. We put PCs in them. And then the PCs wouldn't work because it turns out they needed a special image for the kiosk, but nobody told us that. And then the credit card readers didn't work because nobody knew how they worked. And then they were like, okay, well, let's figure everything out before we go live, obviously. And it's like, okay, finally, you're saying something that makes fucking sense. Let's figure this out before we go live. So that we put these like stickers on them that said like coming soon, don't use yet, while we figured out like how to fucking set them up. And it's like, bro, like this project should have gone live 2 weeks ago, and we're still figuring out how like the credit card readers on them work because nobody told us. They just said deploy them. They never said what they were for or what. Like, I'm a fucking 20-year-old kid working my first IT job. I don't know what the fuck a copay is. Like, you can't just tell me that it's for copay. I don't know what that is. And I'd ask that question, they'd be like, bruh.
Fucking cope.
Yeah, cope. It's for coping. But like, and then they come back and it's like, we figure all this shit out, and then it's like, well, there also has to be stuff done on the back end by like 6 other departments, and it's like, okay, so like even the stuff that needs to get done, half of it isn't even our job. Like to this day, I think there are still kiosks in areas that still have that sticker put on them, because like there was never a set time when they said, okay, here's everything that there was never a checklist of like, here's all the things that like you need to have on this kiosk to mark it as completed, and then we can go live with it. Like there was never anything like that. We slowly kept working out all the things that were wrong with it, and then eventually we were like, okay, I think they're fully functional, but even the people who like, even the vendors for the kiosks were like, we don't know, like it's up to y'all to figure out whether you think they're ready or not. And so there was never like a set like, okay, great, they're ready. So I think eventually the reason they started getting used is because departments just got tired of it and literally ripped the sticker off themselves and just told people, said like, fuck it, just start using it and see if it works. And some departments had success with that. So then everyone else was like, oh, cool, they're ready. But I think there's still to this day areas of the hospital where those kiosks have those signs on them because nobody ever like showed up and was like, oh, hey, by the way, you can use them now. I'm pretty sure they work. I'm pretty sure they figured everything out. But like nobody ever did the rounds to tell everyone that. And it's just like,
Oh, that was.
I know,
That was
sorry.
something.
Yeah, that was like a 20-minute
That was a
rant,
fucking
but
rant.
I know hopefully it was funny enough and entertaining enough. But I am full
Was it
of those
funny,
stories.
entertaining? Smash the like button if it was.
It's
guys.
just that in a nutshell. It's just here's a project. Okay, here's a project. Here's nothing specific about what you're supposed to do. Go figure it out. We try to figure it out. We figure it out on our own, and then we come back and say, "Hey, we figured it out." And then it's like, "Well, actually, no, you haven't, because we have 6 other requirements of this project that were just thrown on us." And like, no matter what, you're always lost. No matter what, you never feel like you've truly figured it out.
That's kind of like working in construction. Like every time on a fucking job site. Oh yeah, we want the toilet to have this, this, and this. All right, great. 2 days later, oh no, the toilet just fucking moved. Excuse me, what?
The toilet has moved. Attention, all customers. The toilet has moved.
Something
I do remember a certain job in Montreal you were there where, like, it's an apartment complex, and on one side of the kitchen there's the sink and stuff, and on the other side there's the fridge and the oven and whatnot. And eventually, like, once we had done everything, including the plumbers had done their stuff too, it was decided that they would just switch both of them, like, switch places for both of them. Yeah, I want this one there, actually, you know? It's like, bro, the pipes are there. The wiring is done. The wall is closed. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? And it's like,
oh, Danny boy, the pipes are there. What do you mean?
No,
if he wants, it's gonna be really expensive. What are you doing?
Oh yeah. I love that when you like tell them how much something's gonna cost.
Well, we can do it. It's just that it's gonna take a fucking ton of time.
Now, okay, I haven't spoken for a while, so I'm gonna hijack this podcast. You're at gunpoint right now. How do you feel?
Oh no! I'm gonna start crying and screaming for help. Oh, here I go.
We've been going on about jobs like firing you, but do you have a I fucking quit story?
Oh yes, yes.
I fucking wish.
I've
I just did.
We're turning the tables.
I have had a couple of I've had a couple stories of my current job. One of which in where it instilled a panic attack in. I had a panic attack at my desk once because of just the pure bullshit and the blame. A lot of shit that I don't. One of the biggest things that I don't like about my job is just that like. And it's not one of the only things I don't. It's really one of the only things I don't like about my job is when you have those moments where these projects are so like, who is in charge of what, and when do we know when we're done, and like what are the requirements, what are the parameters? Like instead of just saying here's a vague objective, go. Because of that, oftentimes things aren't done on time, or things aren't done properly, or again, like they have to come back and say, oh, well, like I know you worked hard all week to do this, but you're gonna have to do it again because you did it wrong because the other people came back and said that it had to be done this way. And when that happens, there is never any kind of pat on the back like, oh, like, hey, we get it, we understand that you know, like didn't have all the information, or we understand that you did your best. There is always just the, like, at least from my perspective, there's always the assumption from management that you were just being lazy and that you're a shit employee.
I mean,
like every time.
It's easier to blame
and
others than to blame yourself.
Yeah, but it just like it makes me, and especially like as I'm one of the more experienced people at the job now, like I'm coming on working there for 2 years, and they have such a high turnover rate that even though I'm one of by far the youngest employee there, I have been there longer than like 80% of the people in that department. Not department, sorry, 80% of the people on my team, the project team. And so I'm very experienced, and so I'm usually the lead tech on a lot of stuff. And so like when I have something done, like there was one project where we had to go put up TVs up in this building for like advertising. They wanted to put like ads on the TVs. So we put up these TVs, and there's all these minor TVs where it's like, oh, like the construction people never put up a bracket for the PC that has to go behind the TV, or oh, this TV is the wrong size, so this one is gonna have to get replaced. Things that we kind of had to like ever so slowly pick out, like, well, now we have to call plant ops, or now we have to call this other department to get them to come in and help us fix this piece of it, or now we have to call networking because the TV is on a wall but the port behind it for Ethernet isn't working. Like all those things that we had to rely on another department for, it meant that it was going to take like an extra couple days. And I went to my boss and was like, hey, like 90% of these TVs are ready to go. Like we can go live right now. Like we have like so much of this done. And they were like, actually, that's why I went to them, is because, sorry, they kept every single day they were saying, why isn't it done yet? Why isn't it done yet? Why isn't it done yet? And every day we had to keep giving them like the same explanation because it was the same stuff that was just taking like days to do. And every day it was, why isn't this done? Why isn't this done? And every single time they do that, it slowly chips at you and gives you, it plants that idea in your head that it's your fault and that you're the one who's failing at this. And like, it's that like, why aren't you doing a good job type beat? That's not what they were saying, but that's just like the vibe you get. It just makes you feel, it just makes you feel like trash, that you feel like you're not good at your job. And then I finally went to them and was like, listen, dude, like, I know that you've been saying, like, why isn't this done yet? We've explained to you a million times why it's not done yet. But on the good side, 90% of these TVs are done. And so we can totally, we have like 6 entire floors that are all ready to go. And we can go live right now and then just deal with the other floors that have like 1 TV that isn't done yet. We can just deal with that later. And they come back and go, no, we want everything 100% before we go live. And it's like, okay, like whatever. And then like the next day, it's just like complete, like it's just complete, like, why isn't it done yet? This, that, the other. And then at one point, the day I had a panic attack, I was, they shifted me to something else for like a little while. And so I was working on something else, and then that was having troubles. And so then I think like I came back and they were just like, so by the way, about this TV project, like what the fuck's going on with this? Like why, like, what's taking so long? Like, hey, they called me out and they were just like, why? Like, what's up with this? And I was just like, dude, like you sent me away on a different project today. Like I haven't been there for it yet. Like I've been out on a different thing all like the past 2 days. I don't know what the progress is. And then like they called to everyone else and they're just like, why isn't it done yet? This, that, the other. And like, it was just so like, it was so much of just blame being thrown on me and on my guys. And like, it's like, none of us are like, I wanted to shout so bad, like, do you think we wake up in the morning and say, man, how can I sabotage this project today? Like, no, we're fucking trying. And I went to you 2 days ago and I told you that we were 90% ready to go. Like, I'm trying so hard, but it's just constant. It's just constant. Like, why aren't you good enough? You know? And as like a 20-year-old kid, first job in IT, I feel like I have a lot to prove. And so when I have those moments, like I had a panic attack. Like I muted myself that in the meeting and I was just like, oh my God, like, oh my God, like, oh my God. Like they cannot be serious right now. And so that was definitely a moment. Like I sat in my car for lunch that day and I was like, dude, like I can't fucking take this anymore.
I've got to fucking go.
Yeah. But I don't, you know, and then it's like War Thunder, dude. And then you have one good game, like you finish a project and things go well. And then you're like, you know, it's not all bad. But then you don't get a pat on the back for a job well done. Yeah, and it's just like it's really something else. That, and then there was a time at my job at a restaurant that I really wished a meteor would come and destroy the restaurant and everyone in it, including me. Because it was late at night. It was like 11 p.m. and I was doing the closing shift. And I was mopping and sweeping the floors. And the person who's supposed to like inspect my work before I go out for the night kept like finding all the tiniest nitpicks of like, stack the cups. And then I'd stack the cups and it's like, oh, go like do shit with the plate, like stuff that wouldn't normally be a part of closing. They were just like, why don't you go do this? And it's just like, you're just keeping me here. Like you just fucking want me to be here longer. Like fuck you. And like it was like, yeah, I guess so. But it was just a moment of just like, let me fucking go home. And like she wouldn't, and I just felt like I just was so mad.
But yeah,
I had a moment like that.
Yeah, well, go for it because you haven't been talking a lot, so I'm gonna leave you talking.
Yeah.
I've got a well, like before I did my whole. I think I had a few panic attacks in the helicopter job just because I was fucking worried that I wasn't good enough, and
Yeah.
it did end up like. But then I got a job as I would drive a truck for somebody who was subcontracting for mail, and the job like the Post Canada was like paying this guy to like drive mails to different postal offices, and it's like, bro, let me tell you, this job, you, I was waking up at 3 to be at the truck at like 4 or 5. I had to have everything loaded in it for 7, and then I would leave for all my stuff. I would drive and stuff, and I was alone and new, so it would take me up to about like what 10. Then I
Mm.
had to drive home, get dinner, and that was the end of my first half shift. Because at 1, I was back in it, and I was driving roughly the same route up until about 7. At which point I had to go home at 8, and well, it was 8, so at 3 o'clock, I had to be back into it. So that's what I
Mhm.
was doing. No free time at all.
Damn.
But
Borderline
no,
sleep.
Yeah, dude.
yeah,
Those projects that just keep you coming back over and over again with no rest time. Fuck that.
the the pay wasn't that good for it. And then I think the first or second week, I got a call from the boss saying, "Hey, I saw your timesheet, and are you sure you didn't put a few hours too many in there? You know?"
Oh,
And I
wow.
swear to motherfucking god, I almost ripped into him straight up, but I was not in the mood for conflicts, and I ended up actually shaving 30 minutes off just to make him happy. But like, fucking hell, I was like a new kid. They put me alone on a truck at the height of like COVID-19 online ordering. I I should have seen the signs, but I didn't. So I kept on going and going, and the other deal is that they were like, if there's one thing that I'm learning some slowly is that working for somebody in their 60s is horrible because retirement's coming and they're trying to put every penny aside for their retirement plan. So
Yeah.
the trucks were horrid horseshit. They were garbage, never maintained. Like my coworker's truck, it had a fucking hole in the floor. So during rain, it sounded pretty nice. And I would suffer in the beginning about 1 or 2 breakdowns per week.
Goddamn.
So that was fucking frustrating. But not only that, and eventually at some point, like, fucking hell, they started lying to me. They said like, "Oh, we gave you a pretty hard route." And so, no, they told me it wasn't the worst route. They told me and stuff. They said it was equipped, and then I talked about it to my coworkers in the morning, and they said, "Dude, you're driving a 16-foot cube. You should have a 20. This is not fucking normal." Which is why I was having so much trouble packing everything into it. And then they told me I had the worst fucking line, the worst trajectory, the worst drive. I was like, oh, really?
Oof. I wonder why.
And it's like I am the kind of guy who will work a lot of hours per day, but the second bullshit starts coming in, I'm out. Like the
Yeah.
second I start a So I keep on going for a bit, and then a guy tells me about his salary. It just kind of slips out, and he's being paid 15 an hour. Except I just got hired, and I'm being paid 16. So I was like, oh, I'm
Oof.
starting to have a really bad feeling about this. And at some point, we also had to do like Saturdays, like that wasn't enough. And at some point, they call me late to say, hey, can you do the run? Can you do it, please, please? And I'm like, okay, but it's kind of late. Can I get some help for it? They were like, nah, it's probably like 5 or 6 crates, no, like 2 or 3 crates, something like that. And to put it into perspective, a crate is about a cubic meter of mail, of boxes and stuff.
Ouch.
So it's like, all right, I go there, even though I didn't trust it at all. And the fucking thing is it's full. The whole thing is full. There was about like 8 or 9 cubic meters of mail to pack into it,
Oof.
and that fucking like kind of got me hard. So I started fucking. I was fucking mad. I ended up only packing 6 out of 9 of them, and like the best part about the job though was talking shit about the job with everyone anywhere because they had a bad reputation.
Nice. Good. Yeah. I try not to burn
And
those bridges, but yeah, sometimes I wish I could just say whatever I wanted to my bosses
Yeah.
and to people. And that's the tough thing about my job is that like I don't hate any of my cowork. Well, I have one coworker that I really don't like. But and that's saying a lot considering the entire everyone in my like not department but in my in the project team, like I think my bosses are good people. I just think they often fail to take our perspective into consideration, and it's very frustrating. It's not like I don't like the people I work with, or I don't, and it's also it's not like I don't like the work. I do enjoy what I do, but it's just every now and then it's just really like, man, like is there really no
Yeah.
better way to go about this, or they're really like, can we really just fucking figure this out?
Oh,
You know,
before
when
we...
management doesn't care, because I'm not even done. I started like doing the whole thing, and then I actually ended up sending a picture. Like, it's full. I was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know. I couldn't expect it." Even though she was working for it for like years, she couldn't expect it. Fuck you, eat shit. And then even worse, there's traffic on my way back, so I waste even more time. And at this point, I'm talking shit with like everyone everywhere about them, and everybody's saying, "Dude, you should quit. You should quit." And I'm like, "Nah, my parents will get mad or something like that." And eventually, fucking hell, I think that was the breaking point. Though I got home, I was like, "Bro, fuck this job so much. I hate it. I hate it." And yeah, I was, I think, the week after, I the first day I like burned through 2 blatant red lights by accident because I was starting to lose my focus. And at some point I was driving for the 1 a.m. shift, and honestly I fell asleep on the wheel
God damn, like fully?
driving,
Oh
almost
no.
covering the
Did you
distance.
die?
It was in my own, no, yeah. It was in my
Damn.
own personal
I'm
car.
sorry, dude.
that
I'm
was
sorry to
awesome.
hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that. That's fucked up,
Yeah.
man. Your job got you
So yeah,
killed. Fuck.
I was I was driving. It was, judging by the distance I've covered, it was for a solid 10 seconds of eyes shut and sleeping.
Holy
And
fuck.
You got super fucking lucky on
Yeah, I was
this.
about to say that's like a lot. If I remember anything from driver's ed, that's like 50 feet or
Yeah, well,
more.
That's much
I-
more than 50 feet.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
probably way more.
highway
Actually, yeah,
speeds too,
10
and
seconds. Oh god, yeah.
I
Sorry,
was
That's
my
like
sense of
saying,
my sense of
100 to 200 meters.
yeah, my sense of like visualizing length in my head is really bad.
I
Like
was
you say, like,
unreasonably lucky. I was tailing a semi, and it took the exit, and if it didn't, I think I would have smashed into it.
god damn.
Like,
Yeah,
I
bro, those
woke up
trucker
as it
jobs
was
have probably been
swerving into it.
horrible.
So at some point, I ended up like, I think after that, I called my boss. I was like, "No, no, dude, I'm
Yeah,
giving you like the end of the week, 2 days or something, and it's over."
god damn.
And I
No,
think
I
it's like,
I could go
You
on
gotta
too
be
about.
kidding me.
I also have like truck related stories with my job, but we have hit an
Yeah.
hour. I don't know if it matters too much, but we have.
Well, if you guys want to keep going, I could. I've told my final story.
I,
I'm sorry I
I
didn't
have
speak
one
much.
story. I have
You
one
have to
Sure,
tell
story.
your story.
we'll
This is
close
the
it out.
final
Yeah,
story.
this was very much a very chill story episode. This wasn't much of a comedy episode, but I like that. I think every now and then we got to have some of these.
Which episode are we on?
This is 13, I
13.
think. Yeah.
Yeah,
God
Episode
damn.
13. All right, episode 13. People bitch. Us bitching about people. Very good.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
I was.
no, like,
I had a different title in
okay.
All
mind,
right,
but
go
I'll
for
share
it.
it.
It's fine.
all right. So, I used to work at a grocery store.
Boo, bad story.
I already hate it.
Fuck you.
Damn.
And basically, I was a cart pusher slash kind of like the maintenance guy.
For
I would,
carts?
clean the toilets,
Oh.
clean the toilet, clean everything up.
Yikes.
And basically, I was the most experienced guy there. I had the most hours and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I had an exam that was 100% sure to fucking fail, and I didn't. But I
Well,
was super fucking stressed and still under stress from that day because I had barely slept and
what?
everything, super worried.
Oh,
So I tell the guy, which is a new one that I already don't like. Okay, I already don't like him, but I'm gonna play good. I tell him, listen, man, it's been a very rough day. Can I leave you to close? You can do a close alone. Honestly, it's not that hard. But like, it was at the peak of COVID, so we needed somebody in the entrance for keep making sure people clean their hands and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, dude, I'm not well. Can I leave you to close? If you need me, I'm in the entrance. Just do the stuff, and if you need me, I'm here. He
Fair.
tells me, yeah, everything, all right. And
Was it his first day or was it like?
like his second week.
Oh, yeah. Then yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, if you're asking him to close on his first day, like that might be
No,
a bit odd,
Nah,
but no,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
no.
Well then,
And,
yeah,
and a close, like you do one close with one guy, like you get your formation, and then it's over. Like you can do it alone
yeah,
easily.
that's fair.
And he says, yeah, no problem, no problem. He fucking complained about me to the director. And
What?
that fucking director, that fucking asshole, took that complaint seriously.
Oh
He took
no.
it serious. He called me into the office, and you know what he told me?
What?
We've seen you've been pretty unhappy lately, and instead of asking me why are you alright, is there something you need and everything, be nice. You know what he told me?
You should go find
Straight
another
up,
job.
he told me, yeah, he told me if you're not happy, nobody's keeping you here.
Wow, that is like the worst thing to
Whoa.
say to an employee. Period.
And like he's lacking employees.
COVID
He's
times.
looking.
In
He's looking
COVID
for employees.
times,
And
my guy, what are you doing?
I am his most experienced employee. I know everything around that fucking shop. And you told me if I'm not happy, I can go fuck myself.
Wow.
Fuck you. And
Yeah.
also
Holy shit.
another thing about that fucking asshole.
Go for it.
He's not gonna listen to this.
Okay. No, I don't. He can
Yeah.
listen to it.
He
Like,
can
Oh,
listen
okay.
to
All right. All right.
it.
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
can
Okay.
listen to it all he wants. He can go fuck himself.
I see how it is.
Okay, so basically, the way my work, I was working 7 to 4, usually on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Every 2 hours you had a break. You had a 15-minute break, then an hour break for dinner, and then another 15 minutes.
Damn, that's actually pretty
And
fucking cool.
yeah, that's all right. There's a Tim Hortons not too far away. So
Let's go!
What I usually do is
Tim
like,
Hortons.
take my 15 minutes and go to Tim Hortons. And sometimes I took 5 to 10 minutes more because I
Fair.
was getting coffee. I was getting coffee and donuts for everyone.
Aw.
And he called me into his office saying, "Yeah, we noticed that you were getting coffee for everyone. That's cool, but you stop doing this because we could open a case for stealing time."
Wow.
This boy.
So he even knew that you were doing it specifically to get donuts and stuff for people, but he still
Yeah.
decided to call you out on it?
Yeah, for
That's
stealing time.
that's a bunch of bullshit.
And that can have legal repercussion
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because you technically have stolen time. Fuck's sake, I'm a fucking 19 slash. I think I was 20. A 20-year-old dude who just has fun with his other, colleagues, and whose other colleagues actually like him. I have
Yeah.
a good reputation. I go get coffee for them. They're glad I do this, and we're having fun together. No, you fucking decide to call me out for getting coffee for 10 fucking minutes. If I took
Right.
10 more minutes.
I always hate that, dude. And that leads me to another story, but like fuck, we're gonna have an extra long episode of the podcast.
Come on, nah, extra long. Come on, shoot it. We got time.
No, but
The
just
people
a-
won't.
Well, let him finish.
Yeah, like the fucking slap on the face that
Yeah.
was. And you know what? He had the nerves. At my last day, he gave me a $25 gift card for the shop and said, I have always appreciated you, and for that, I'm giving you $25. In my head, I was
That
like,
is the
first of
biggest
all,
thing
Did
he's
you
ever done
spend
for
it?
25.
anyone.
What the fuck do you want me to do with $25 at a grocery stores?
Yeah. Buy a couple candy
I got
bars.
popcorn.
Yeah.
That's everything I got. And
Congratulations for all
also,
the
I
time you
wanted to
spent with this
straight up
company. Here's
tell him,
$25.
go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You made my life hell here.
Wow.
Like, just straight up go fuck yourself.
I had something similar about that with like wasting time. I don't get why managers and people can't just get into their heads the idea that like, look, bro, if nothing's happening, then nothing's happening. Like, I don't know what you want out of me.
Honestly, if I was a manager, you could be on your phone all you want.
Yeah.
As long as the job is done.
Yeah.
I've had a really nah, go for it.
My managers are pretty good with like phones and stuff. Like they allow us to like listen to music and be on our phones on the job. Like that's fine. And if there's something like if you're currently not doing anything, like they'll check in with you and just say, "Hey, like I see you're not busy. Like would you like something to do?" And then obviously you can't say no because if you do, then that's when it starts getting sus. But they're just like, "Hey, like if you want something to do," and you're like, "Oh yeah, sure. Like please, I'm not busy." And
that's of course.
yeah, and my manager is very, again, I don't dislike the people I work with. It's just constant like the not always understanding, like I don't know, there's always the blame pushing especially, but even my boss, like we have our boss, we do have what he calls one-on-ones where like once a month every now and then he'll call us into the office for an hour and just be like, hey, like what's going on, like what's up, man? And like he'll ask about personal stuff. Like my boss knows about like my tank YouTube channel and stuff because I've talked about it with him. It's like, yeah, like I'm working on hobby stuff, and he's like, yeah, man, that's cool. Same boss, by the way, that often demands like, why isn't this done? Why isn't this done? Why isn't this done? But whatever, because he's the kind of guy where if you don't have something going on, he will fucking like give you something to do, and he'll find any excuse of any bullshit, even if it's literally not our job. He'll be like, how about you go do this to keep you busy? And it's like, I don't know how to do that because that's not my job. And then you kind of is like, well, you better get it done. And it's like, okay, well, whatever. But that's kind of to give context. But the actual story is relating more to the coffee thing, where we would always, so work starts technically at 8 a.m. but we have an 8:15 morning meeting for like specifically the project team for our like side of things. And then there's another meeting at 8:45 for like the whole IT department as a whole. So both teams, the core team and the project team, can share with each other like things that are going on in the environment and things that they're working on, so people are aware with stuff. And so because everyone's on that meeting, like if you want to talk to the guys in inventory, like that's your chance to bring up and say, hey, Bobby in inventory, I need to go grab like 20 PCs from you this afternoon. Like you have a chance to talk to people at that point about stuff, which is nice. Those are cool. But like obviously you're not doing anything if you're attending those meetings, and those meetings last a while. So by the time the 8:15 meeting is over, the 8:45 meeting starts up. And so often what people did was they got breakfast and were eating breakfast during the meetings. And our manager, not my direct manager, but the manager for the whole department, like who's in charge of both the core team and my team project team, like called out in the meeting once. She was like, hey, so like I see that a lot of you are getting breakfast beforehand, and just be aware that if you're eating breakfast in the mornings and not like during your work hour time, like you either take your hour lunch right then and there in the morning and eat your breakfast and then you don't get lunch, or like stop that and eat your breakfast before you clock in at 8 in the morning, like before 8 in the morning, and then you can take your lunch still. Like basically saying like basically the same gist of like you're wasting company time by eating breakfast first thing in the morning because you're not quote unquote you're not working. Or like she saw it as people like taking their lunch early. So she's like, you either take your lunch and eat breakfast or you don't, and then you get lunch. And literally somebody spoke up and was like we don't do anything until 9 because we have these meetings. So like, yeah, I either way, if I'm not going to be working, then I might as well be eating my breakfast while I listen to these meetings so that I'm fucking energized. And she basically was just like, okay, but I stopped doing that. Like she basically like fucking ignored him and was just like, okay, but also
you're nothing.
Stop.
I'm the boss.
Basically. And that was pretty hilarious.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, but it was that same kind of
Kinda
idea.
haha,
It was a little bit hee hoo hoo, But
the amusement was there.
The amusement was there. But if we've got nothing else going, what's our outro here? We're on the Christie tank, and we've been driving for a solid hour. Is that
Oh, yo,
Chicago in
guys,
the
I think I-
distance?
No,
Man, we got there so quickly. That's
Whoa,
crazy.
Yo, the
Holy
Christie
shit.
suspension does work a lot.
The Christie suspension really works. That's insane.
What if I
Wow.
told you that? What if I told you that instead we just ran out of gas because we didn't check the tank?
Well, that's not a problem. Chicago's right there.
Chicago has so many.
Whoa.
Chicago has so many gas. It'll work out perfectly. It's
Is that
perfect.
a
Dude, let's-
gas Soviet truck right
I
there?
think I need a
Yeah.
gas to put in the engine, you guys.
Yeah, let's put a gas in the engine. But until
and I think
then,
you guys need to put a scrub rib on the button. Click, click it. Click the button, click the button.
subscribe on the channel.
Scrub rib.
Scribble on the channel.
We planned something for this.
Yep. But
Oh, anyway.
on a real note,
Bye-bye.
yeah, bye-bye. Love you guys. Thank you for watching.
Ooh.
Yay.
Mwah, mwah.